Hi folks, this is Josh, sailing vessel Wayfinder, and I'm on a Lagoon 42, and I want to show you how we figure out how to get the hatch off so we can replace the gasket on a lewmar number 44 low profile hatch. Okay, so when you first look at the hatch, you have to get the hatch off of the hinges, and first step is to undo these two screws here so that the whole holding mechanism is free. And then you see there's a piece of plastic right here, right? And it helps to have two people do this. And the piece of plastic, when it's off, looks like this, right? So what you can do is you can get a screwdriver in on this side and you start to pry it and get it wiggled. And then once you create a gap on there, the person is holding that, and you can get in on this side and pop it off. Boom. All right. It's a little tricky, but it happens. All right. And when it pops off, you have to be very careful that it doesn't pop off the boat. So keep your hand here while you're prying with the other one. And it's really good to have two people doing this because the hatch will be flopping around because it doesn't have this on it anymore. Okay, so then we're going to go down. So then what you're going to see is you're going to see, of course the hatch is in the way, you're going to see a hinge with a black piece of plastic here. All right. And that big black piece of plastic has the same thing. It's got a little groove in the bottom of it. It comes off. You have to pry it off. And when you pry it off, be careful that it doesn't go flying all over the place. Of course, the day before, you've used penetrating oil on everything that you can see and touch. And then there are some videos that say that you take an Allen wrench or something, you stick it in these holes, and you twist them opposite directions, and that screws it in. Well, on this particular hatch, that wasn't the case at all. If you take a look at the hinge end, there's tenon, right? So there's flat spots, right? And that fits into the frame. And we use the holes later on. So once you get this off, boom, it comes off, right? Then you can take a screwdriver and work it so that they come in like this, all right? And once you get them so that they move in far enough, now it's flush at this edge, right? And the hinge is free. Same thing over here, all right? All right, this is in the window frame. You pry it with a screwdriver, right? And it gets in far enough, and then the whole hatch can come off, all right? So that's how we got the hatch off. That was step one. All right, step two involved a spreader bar clamp that we bought specifically for this. And we bought the kind that says 300-pound pull, but for another $3, I would suggest you get the one that says 600-pound. And the difference is that the bar itself is beefier and doesn't deform when you're pushing. All right. So we have it set up in the pushing mode. We got it in between here. We cranked and cranked and cranked and cranked. All right. And still nothing would happen. So then we had to go in and run a screwdriver right in here and wedge it apart. And I can't show you that on a good one, but you'll see it when you start doing it. These are together. There's a thin little crack in here, and because you're replacing the gasket anyway, if you need to cut it to get it out of the way, that's not a big deal. And we drove a screwdriver in, and that popped it. We worked both sides a little bit at a time, and we got it free. Now, you don't have to necessarily get all 4 screws, machine screws, out of these holes. All right. If you get 2 on one side and 2 on one side or 2 on the other side, that should be enough. As it was, this head is all munged up, so we couldn't undo it. And but we were able to get it separated anyway. And then once it's separated, just spend a lot of time cleaning it up and getting all the corrosion out of it. And now you have the light itself, right? You got this piece of plastic. This was the tricky part. Make sure that you take the gasket and you lube it up really well with silicone or something. We use dish detergent all the way in the groove and around the edges of the gasket, all like that. And the gasket has a seam, and it also has a couple holes in it that let the air out when you close the gasket. We never have found the holes, but they're supposed to be at this end. So we just put the seam back behind where the hinge will be, and started at the seam edge, and worked it around this way and milked it around this way, and eventually you get it to a point where it's on 3 out of the 4 corners, and the 4th corner was a little bit of a trick, but if you keep milking it around, boom, 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 milk, 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 and you move it up and you milk it this way, then you have enough slack to get it through here to this. And then you have to play with it a little while just to get it in its groove, right? And it seems like it's loose, but once we slide it back into the frame, it should be all squeezed down. And of course, when you slide it back into the frame comes apart completely. A lot of silicone or something else in this groove, and we'll turn the clamp around like so. And now we can squeeze. All right, and we'll squeeze it together and run our screws back in, and Bob's your uncle, as they say. All right, that's it. We'll see what happens. All right, bye. Thanks for watching.